Welcome back to Mirror of Fate. So let's continue Trevor's quest. Still doesn't have that much ring, but rule of 3 and everything.
Come to think of it, Trevor's quest. Do you think they intentionally made this chapter free just to go like Castlevania free?
I don't know.
I got an idea for a title. What about Trevor's Tribulation?
No, they should have just called it Dracula's Curse, just to be on the nose. The first chapter should have been called Simon's Quest. Chapter 2 should have been called, I don't know,
Daddy Issues.
Alucard's Adventure?
Alucard's Symphony? I don't know.
No. Alucard's Adventure?
Sure.
Yeah, Alucard Adventure 2. No.
But yeah, again, we've already got into it, but man, is the plotting of this game weird, because, like I said, it more or less moves backwards over the course of stuff.
Like I said, it's very similar to the Moffat era Doctor Who, almost unnecessarily done for the sake of, expecting like a shock reaction from the player. Anyway, hold on, more important dialogue with the Spectre.
Welcome, Trevor. I've been expecting you.
Who are you? How do you know my name?
Not Shadow.
I am here
Sorry, your name tag.
tonight, as it is supposed to happen.
No matter how much it screws you over, I will make sure that fate takes a hand.
Move aside.
As you wish. However, your fate has already been sealed, and there is nothing you can do to change it. I am sorry to say that you will not achieve your objective, and your wife and your son will suffer the consequences of your failure.
Well, that's one way to respond.
I will hear no more from
And
you.
that's the reason why he's never spoken since, in the previous two
because
chapters.
Trevor smashed him in the face, that's why.
And told him to shut up.
that's a way to shut someone up.
I mean, it makes no sense why he doesn't speak to Simon, but...
No, he cannot actually, he actually cannot, because the whole thing is broken. Don't ask me how it works, especially because it's revealed only at the end of what the true identity of the Spectre is, so...
It is a very weird and kind of weak explanation, like, oh, you smashed part of somebody's face and suddenly they can't talk? That's not exactly
Jova, help me out of this one, because I've seen snippets of it in the Marvel USA comic run. Like, can the Transformers actually not talk if they actually have the equivalent of their mouth actually smashed? I know that for Bumblebee is a bit more complicated than that, but...
Hold on. Yes, they can. It's the vocal cords that have to be damaged in order for them not to be able to speak properly.
Okay.
And it's biology. It's not like, why don't you just rebuild it?
One thing we have to remember about Transformers is that they are cybernetic beings who still do have a biology. Like,
which is why
Transformers
anytime I see an ignorant person like, "Why Optimus is dead? Why can't you just rebuild him?"
No, you need the specific spark. That's why Starscream's special, because he has a mutant spark that can inhabit other machines and other organic beings.
Didn't G1, it wasn't like G1 or at least a series adjacent to it implied also that Starscream, had a soul and became a ghost after he was dead?
Oh, that's my point about his
just went
mutant...
to robot heaven, he would be fine.
That's the thing about his mutant spark. His mutant spark can essentially turn him into a ghost, essentially.
Okay.
Thankfully, you didn't die from that.
God, you can't even attack in the air just to cheat the fall damage?
I could have, I just didn't because I forgot, sorry.
Okay.
Go on, Jova.
The thing about Starscream is essentially he can inhabit other metallic beings or even organic beings, like that one time he infiltrated that girl's body and whatnot.
What?
Basically,
Ew.
Yeah, that happened. I forget if it was in one of the manga, but it's definitely a thing across continuity that he can do, so...
Remember in Transformers Animated when he got the Allspark? And it's like every time he died, he just kept coming back to life because it wasn't part of him.
He didn't get the Allspark, he got a fragment of it imparted into his skull, which, essentially made him immortal.
Yeah. I was just animated, got a season 3.
Wait, no, animated did get a third season.
No, I only had 2 seasons.
No. Free. The first season ended with Sari's dad being kidnapped. The second one ended with, well, that one big plot twist that I probably shouldn't say because big massive spoilers.
I guess it's because of how season 3 ended, not everything got resolved. To my knowledge.
Technically, yeah, everything did get resolved. However, there was always some potential for a 4th season.
Yeah.
There's even a YouTube channel that basically made a pseudo season 4, which is actually pretty looking in line with the show, so that's good.
Have any of you two checked the more recent Netflix animated series? I think.
Nope, but I heard it's bad.
Cybertron?
Oh.
Wait. Hold on. Wait. War for Cybertron?
I think that's that.
I've heard...
The one that Rooster Teeth is doing.
Wait. Rooster Teeth are doing that?
Hey, look at that! The chessboard. That's pretty cute.
Hey, that's nice. I wonder if Dracula keeps it.
Oh, shit.
That time we played with Lauren. Oh, crap.
Yeah, the Prime Wars trilogy is being done by Rooster Teeth.
Wait. Is that the same thing as the War for Cybertron series? Because I think there's a newer Transformers series going on, something Cyberverse. Oh wait, no, that one's already been gone and done. And
I guess we cannot leave with only Ruby, I suppose.
Okay.
Well, I mean, considering how I've heard Ruby's been doing, they might have to live without it.
Like, doesn't it still have like a sizable cult following?
Yes, and it makes a lot of money.
Well, yeah, honestly though, I get the feeling those are just people following around because they want to see the series through to the end at this point, because
or
it's
they
one
want
of those...
their sheep canonized next.
So yeah, I've heard there's been some tomfoolery going on with the ships and whatnot. Some of which
unless they check me, they like canonized one by the end of one of the more recent seasons, but that's what Lisa eat.
Also, apparently Trevor was strong even before becoming a vampire because he literally just tore that werewolf to pieces.
His magic medallion as rendered as used before many other, to conjure allied magic. When used the sacred fire, it basically allows you to heal your wounds.
So anyway.
the same thing that happened in the first game. Again, they gave Trevor that kind of moveset.
And yes, the Netflix Transformers War for Cybertron trilogy is done by Rooster Teeth.
I can kind of see it. Well, I guess I'll give him this. The animation looks very good, as do the character designs.
Everyone tells me, yeah, it's not good. I think Phelan Hearts also said that wasn't good as well.
Really? I have not heard that from Phelan. But, okay, I have not yet seen the series, so I can't judge it properly. I've heard both good and bad about it. At the very least, it sounds like it's in a better state than the likes of Ruby or Red vs. Blue.
Oh, is he still going?
Yes!
Well,
yes, it is.
Okay. Yes and no. Currently, what we're doing is Red vs. Blue Project Zero. Zero. Which kind of eschews a lot of the classic cast from it in favor of this new cast. Dej, how familiar are you with the Red vs. Blue series?
I saw the first season. I was like, oh, this is fine. I'll get back to it eventually. This was last year.
Okay, so you probably can't answer me. Have they, okay, is Caroline still in charge?
I don't know.
I remember the trailers and whatnot. I'll just say this. I've heard little to nothing good about Red vs. Blue Zero. And
look, the only good Rooster Teeth series that I enjoy as of late are Camp, because that's actually funny, and Ruby Chibi, because that's...
It takes the piece out of the original series.
It takes jabs at it, but it's not mean-spirited. It's more like...
It's more a playful way, I guess.
Yes, these writers, they're not professional writers. They're just winging it. But from what I've seen, they're better at comedy than telling a story.
Okay, look. To be fair, Red vs. Blue was good. Did it have some of its weak seasons? Yes. But Red vs. Blue Zero just... did not interest me. A lot of it seemed like retreading stuff with the newer characters here and there. And it's like just about well, okay, the way season 17 ended, we could have gotten at least one more season of the original show to wrap stuff up completely properly. Now you could argue season 17 was a good ending point, but I'd say there was enough left to see why people may have been disappointed that they chose to do something new. To put it like this, it's kind of like Transformers Robots in Disguise 2015, which is technically a sequel to Transformers Prime. Only it feels so different from Transformers Prime that we kind of would have preferred if we got more Transformers Prime instead of that.
Oh, wait,
sequel.
Robots in Disguise?
The 2015 show. That is actually a sequel to Prime. Oh, okay. Basically, Transformers Prime is one of, if not the most acclaimed series of Transformers, aside from Gen 1. Because Transformers Prime definitely is great. And you know what? Of course, it had money behind it, aka all the money made from the Bayformers films helped funneled into that movie to help. Funneled into the show to make it great.
I guess one good thing came out of that trash.
I heard the video games were good.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Except for Rise of the Dark Spark. Screw Rise of the Dark Spark.
On consoles.
Okay. You know what? Look, I wouldn't even hate Rise of the Dark Spark so much, but that is the game that caused the War for Cybertron series to die. So, yeah, sorry, it's effectively a franchise killer.
Also, in case you're wondering, things you probably have seen it, after that dialogue with the Spectre, basically the rest of the journey with Trevor is mostly silent. He, again, kind of like Prince of Persia Border Within. Oh, there will be a couple of cutscenes and even encountering other stuff, but it's mostly, again, akin to very classic stuff, where it's just him storming around Dracula's castle until he arrives at the final boss. Of course, when he actually arrives, he will have to talk with Gabriel, but unlike Simon nor Alucard, there aren't many cutscenes where he's interacting with someone else aside from that thing at the beginning with the Spectre.
It's a weird pacing maneuver,
particularly to throw at the end.
Again, it feels like the story ran out of steam, honestly. Honestly, you can pretty much piece together what happens. Even
if I had to hazard a guess, considering the factors, considering again how the game was deliberately delayed for the purpose of, hold on, let's get this upgrade. A new particular kind of gadget, an electric sphere.
Thanks for leaving these around, Dracula.
Sorry, electric bomb. Now, these are still like the gadgets of the toy maker. He's the one to be blamed for just leaving those around. But again, considering how there isn't... the batteries used by the toy maker to power his mechanical monsters are used as Trevor as dangerous electricity bombs. When activated, they release multiple tongues of energy that leave enemies trapped in their sphere or influence and their ultimate demise. Considering how relatively little story there is, and it's mostly just focused on gameplay, and also what we mentioned about the delay due to Konami not being impressed by the first result. I actually do wonder if this portion with Trevor was supposed to be just like the prologue, the actual prologue cutscene, and the game itself was just about the Simon and Alucard portions, and that was it. So this gameplay portion with Trevor was actually added on, to give more meat to the game.
Again, of all the places to add it, though, they added it at the end.
This will also explain why, the twist about Trevor being Alucard is so pushed up despite being very obvious.
Again, regardless of that, though, this should have been at the start of the game, honestly.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, the actual prologue with Gabriel using a Pokeball against the demons is cute, but, if it would have been for the sake of, having a bit more sense out of the plot twist, and making it less obvious, and more direct,
Or again, just make this chapter 1, it's weird, again, how the story has a weird thing. It's paced fine for the first 2 chapters, but then it slows down. Again, at events that chronologically take place more closer to the beginning of the whole venture, so it's such a weird venture.
There we go.
I mean, thankfully the game's still fun, so there's that, but man, if you're in this for the story and lore...
Alright, let's go with this one.
Wrapped. I spent my final...
Sorry, my bad. It's my bad, I forgot.
Okay, I'm gonna go back and read it properly.
Sure, I'll give you a time afterward.
I spent my final hours troubled by the dangers awaiting my comrade who I couldn't warn. I trust his fate will be better than mine. I doubt it wasn't.
He died.
Unless his companion was Trevor.
Go to 16.
1555.
Okay, almost there. But yeah, that's mostly just
I'm not that fast a reader, by the way.
But yeah, this is just a guessing from my part, Joe. I don't know if that's actually it or there was, still more trouble or not. Anyway, get ready and go.
I guess the fact that there's probably more to talk about what went wrong with Forza Shadow 2 than there is this game does speak volumes that, again, most of the issues with this game aren't really deal breakers. And even still, I never get the semblance that there was some heavy executive mandates with this game. Like, a lot of the weird stuff, I'd say could just as much be blamed on the devs so much as it was the executives with this game, which we don't know exactly what was the full extent of stuff. Like, all this does feel like a genuine attempt. It confuses me and, well, you may wonder.
Oh, yeah, the fire fitting spit. That's a classic Castlevania callback. Yeah.
You have been seeing that for a while now, Dad.
Yeah.
I'm tired.
But anyway, like I said, I mean, the problems here are not deal breakers for this game. It's just, it's so weird. It's more weird than anything.
Like I said, it's more, instead of being anger-inducing, they literally just make you ask questions or anything. That's literally it.
Yeah.
Are there any water bubbles by any chance?
There have been for Simon's levels. I forgot if there is one for this one, and remember Alucard didn't need them in the first place. And I think there are, because there's like a small mix. Yes, there you go, there are. Although you do not get a jingle like in Sonic, you still have the actual air meter there. There we go.
Oh, lighting darkness.
Yeah, I can see shit.
Right, what's fun? A level where I can't see any. Has there ever actually been a video game where it's entirely pitch black?
Ooh, let me
Random
think.
sections of games have been, yeah.
Yeah,
No,
sometimes
I meant whole games that are like that.
Not really.
The closest thing we have to that is Limbo, probably.
I mean, that would be hands down the most stupidest idea for a video game.
Okay, Dweebs, in a technical sense, a text-based adventure is always black.
Yeah, but but you can see stuff. I meant something where you can't see anything at all.
There wouldn't be a video game in the first place, Dweebs.
My mom used to tell me about
there's been a video game made where if you die once, the entire game deletes itself and you can never play it again.
Sorry, I'm gonna have to chime in on this one. Particular charities have developed software it has to be specific games. You can't really do this with online because of the random nature of it. But for games with a streamlined story, there is software available to allow people with completely zero vision to play a video game.
I can imagine that for something like, say, an audio narration for story portions, but I'm kind of...
play and navigation stuff too.
Okay.
Yeah. This software is not widely available. This is something you have to seek after to get. But yeah, this stuff does exist. It's just not very well known about.
Okay.
My mom has told me that there were games back in her day where everything was literally black, to the point where you had to literally draw your own map of stuff because you could not see exactly what you were doing. You would have to go exactly off of the text prompt. So technically you were in the dark for those the entire time.
Anyway, there we go. Now we just need to pull the lever. And we opened up the way up. Road. But no, like, I don't know, considering what you were saying before, Drova, I'm not entirely still sure, because like I said, I will probably still get hold on, this puzzle. Before continuing this path, you must find all of my comrades, bearers of the order who have been locked inside this dreadful vertical prison without leaving a single one. But use both magic medallions to, like this. Basically, this is a puzzle where you need to, like, correctly the places with the correct, magic. Much like in the first game, we did have a couple of puzzles like that. What's the catch in this? First of all, we still need to get the Shadow Magic Medallion, obviously, but we also need to find the hints from the other knights if you want to have any kind of semblance of chance of resolving this without, trial and error. So there's your choice. Like again, scavenging hunt among the vertical prison, check the corpses to see if you can find a hint towards, the gem that you need to use. And when you think you have enough to try and guess, especially if you haven't got all of them, obviously, give it a try. Again, it's pretty old school in that kind of sense. But no, compared to considering what you were saying before, Drova, Lords of Shadow 2 might have problems, but it is not something that I actually did question that much, among any time that I actually played,
I think the difference between something like this or Lords of Shadow 2 and why you didn't ask, I was like, well, with Lords of Shadow 2, it's more about where you get why they wanted to try. They didn't take this risk here and there. It's just that obviously they did not always pan out well. That's sort of the difference. Lords of Shadow 2 is like, you know what and why the problems are. With this game, it's like they aren't confused and befuddled.
Sorry, Joe, can you repeat that last segment? You cut out a bit, sorry.
What I was saying was like, well, with Lords of Shadow 2, you get exactly what the problems are and why the devs wanted to try this or that with them.
Okay.
With this game, while they aren't necessarily problems that drag down the game, they are legit issues that do befuddle and just confuse.
Okay, well, again, we'll see it in due time. There you go, there's the next hint. An actual Shadow Gem on the first lot. Okay, cool story, I guess. Yeah, I don't even know how is Trevor able to do the actual, wall jump, considering he doesn't have an ability that's equivalent of the Shadow Claws that Alucard had. We just has because, it helps facilitate the gameplay. Again, it seems that the game just seems to be running a bit out of steam towards the end, both narratively and, in trying to justify a bit the gameplay. There we go, there's the Shadow Magic Medallion. Also, another thing that I noticed for the jingle that you get, they did recycle the one of the first game, but for some reason, instead of playing it full, they cut it in half and repeated it immediately after. I don't know why they did that. Unless it's an actual glitch, but I severely doubt it.
Maybe it's a stylistic choice.
That's a stylistic, disrespectful towards Oscar's work.
Like I said to you, the issues in this game just confuse.
There you go, blue gem for the second slot, only one remaining, so I think we might as well give it a try. I don't remember if I get the last one. Moving on.
You see, those fires were supposed to... I bet you those fire effects would have been beautiful on the 3DS, just to show you how amazing the 3D technology is!
Even some of the cutscenes from what we've seen before do give the impression that they wanted to showcase the 3D capabilities. Again, the Acox did mention... Oh, there you go, I'm getting last hint. The Acox did mention they wanted to also make a PlayStation Vita version, but they decided at the end to to just stick to the 3DS. And I kind of can imagine why. It was not done. Okay, remind me again which specific year the Vita came out.
2012.
Yeah.
So it was around the beginning of it. I get the idea either Konami or Mercury Steam, or both of them, were not really confident, in having a title of this being developed for the console at that point. So we just decided to stick with the console that was actually gaining traction, because the 3DS also had a rocky start, but very quickly gained momentum.
Probably for the best. 3DS was a better system than the Vita anyway.
Okay.
In terms of games, yes, but in terms of tech, oh man, the Vita was really good.
Yeah, no,
obviously I'm not talking about the tech power.
Okay, obviously, but that was like more of a chain effect of anything, it didn't sell much, so a lot less people developed for it, meaning that it still, did not sell much, and so on and so forth.
Also, it was kind of the games were.
Sony themselves did not do a good job putting out.
That is true. That is true, Jova, but that's what third-party support also helps.
I feel like if you're launching a system, you better bring out your A game. You can't just solely rely on third parties to make people buy your console.
Okay, so
I definitely blame Sony the most in the failure of the Vita, because they didn't put out good initial support themselves.
It's not even that, Jova. It was also for the SNN decision tied to the marketing, trying to combat piracy so hard that they made a machine that was too expensive, for their own good, and with very specific requirement. That alone
also you need to buy a specific Vita SD card for it, and they announced their partnership with AT&T, which got them booed. When you get booed at your own E3 conference, you know you screwed up.
Yeah. Oh God, the E3 of.
It wasn't as bad as that Blizzard Con where the fans are asking them what the fuck are they in.
You mean the one where they asked if you don't have phones?
No, yeah, auto season April Fool's joke.
Yeah. That's the same one where they all ask, "Do you not have phones?"
I'm just glad we're out of PS3 era, Sony. Holy crap.
Well, Sony aren't perfect even now, but they are.
It's like PS3 was.
Also, again, Jova, you take what you can get. Sure, it's still.
We should make it better. That is what I'm saying. But it's like I'll compliment a win when I can.
But I will say this though, like I said, I blame Sony the most for the Vita's failure, because that thing had piss poor first party support. And again,
it did, yeah.
The moment things didn't go their way, did they maybe try to improve things and get better? No, they killed it.
They pulled it Nintendo pretty much.
And that being said,
actually, Drips, no, because Nintendo more often than not actually do try to improve on their stuff.
Also,
it takes them a while, though, doesn't it?
Well, they actually do get there. Well, that's the important bit. Well, and remember, the thing that actually did propel ultimately the 3DS into being so much was actually Pokemon X and Y.
Yeah, because back when the 3DS first launched, it had little to nothing.
Nobody gave a shit about Kiriko Surprising.
It was only
because it's not a good game. Oops.
It was only later when they started pumping a lot of exclusives into it that things started to improve. Basically.
Okay, Dej. I think that's more your wrist speaking than the actual quality.
I'm left-handed.
Okay, let me put it like this. It's a good game as long as you're right-handed. That being said, okay, look. That stuff aside, it's a good game. But yeah, I really am baffled by the fact that game has not gotten a port to the Switch.
Please remake it.
Speaking of, let me continue also what I was saying. Again, there's also the fact that after the Vita was essentially killed, not everything that was on it has been ported, both first party and third. It's nice to see something like Persona 4 Golden showing up, and Sony did try to do a couple of stuff like Gravity Rush, or Escape Plan, but stuff like Freedom Wars and Soul Sacrifice are still stuck there, technically. Anyway, that's the next door to open, but we cannot do it actually now. We actually need to still climb up. What you were saying, Jova? Sorry.
I was just saying, it is said how some stuff got stuck on the PSP or PS Vita without any ports whatsoever.
For the PSP, at the very least, it's the emulation is still a thing. So at least if you're really curious and dedicated, you can actually check it out. Congratulations to Sony on that. They actually did manage to create a console that is hardest shit to emulate for all it's worth, I guess.
When I do talk about the PSP stuff, though, I'm talking about how certain games, unfortunately, did not get sequels because they were PSP exclusive.
You mean Vita, I think.
No, PSP. Mega Man Powered Up, Maverick Hunter.
That was a remake, well, not an actual, sequel title. It got two sequels, Dej.
Yeah.
But apparently the PSP version is the best one.
Well, it still proves what Jova was saying. Conscious was saying the sequel still did happen.
Tio, let me finish. Powered Up did not get a sequel because it didn't do well being a PSP exclusive. Maverick Hunter, great game, didn't get a sequel because, for some reason Inafune wanted that to be a PSP exclusive. Look, don't get me wrong, they were great games for the PSP. But putting them on other things wouldn't have hurt because the PSP was at that point
what's
where...
What's the point of getting it on PSP then?
Okay, let's
have it on the go.
Let's get some things out of the way here just to clarify. The PSP sold extremely well. The problem was people didn't buy their games. Also, even if they put it on the DS, I don't think it would do as well as we think. Wait, hold on. Because they put Mega Man ZX and ZX Advent there. And
Trevor, are you sure about the door?
Trevor, why are you doing this? Oh my god.
I have no peripheral vision.
Those Uzi touches to, move on. So we have another boss fight against this fucking thing. Oh god.
How about you?
This time with the flea man trying to bomb the shit out of you from a distance. You piece of trash.
Gotta take advantage of that 3D effect.
This probably did look good on the 3DS. It doesn't look as good
for a gameplay purpose, from what I heard, yes. But remember, from what I heard, the cutscenes were much more janky, both in in the actual mouth lip movement, and the actual character movement. So I guess there's one thing they're fine, I suppose.
I suppose I would need to actually see it for myself before I believe it.
Sure. Well, didn't you actually play it?
Yeah, I did, but it's been a while, so I need to revisit.
Sure.
That said, though, I feel like this was fine on the 3DS. Again. Not saying that there's anything wrong with, porting it up, but I do feel like this port could have worked to improve things better.
Like what?
Granted, it sounds like it was a bit of a rush port to be made before Lords of Shadow 2 got released because they realized, we probably should make the vital middle game more accessible to people, otherwise we're going to get backlash. Which they still did, mind you, because, seriously. But alas. Honestly, I wonder if it may have been better to have packed in the HD version with Lords of Shadow 2, honestly.
Okay, that's the thing to remember. The actual packaging happened with the first game, where it did contain the first game, all its both DLCs and the Mirror of Fate HD.
So they packaged it with the first game, not with the second one.
I get the idea. I get one idea why we did that, for the sake of here's the actual edition where you get prepared for when the sequel actually comes out in a bit. Similarly to how the Kingdom Hearts games were actually packaged before the release of 3. Okay, now we can move forward.
Again,
I was complaining about that again. Which did better, Birth by Sleep or the DS games?
You mean in terms of sales?
Yeah.
I actually don't know.
Birth by Sleep, if I remember correctly, sold better. Let me check real quick.
That was the PSP one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me see.
There we go. Now we have obtained a specific type of a hook, we can actually allows us to actually break specific doors. There we go. Again, kind of like what Gabriel did in the first game. It's neat that we trying to make Trevor's moveset similar to the one that Gabriel had in the first game. as a parallel. So there is that, I suppose.
Like father, like son.
It's poetic. Anyway, to the next time, where we actually finish Trevor's portion of the story, and as a result, we finish the actual game.
And
Yeah.
I also come back with my research results in the beginning of the next part. Why not? So
Yeah.
Okay.
see ya.